we want to get into something called the -1 technique. You know that subtraction is not commutative. If you go 9 minus 7, you get positive 2. But if you switch that around to 7 minus 9, you get negative 2. You do not get the same value, and subtraction is not commutative. However, if we try something like 11 minus 5 and 5 minus 11, we notice that one way we get a positive 6, the other way we get a negative 6. In both of these examples, we get the same numerical value, absolute value-wise, but the sign is different. And these two ideas lead to the following concept. A minus B over B minus A is not going to cancel directly. However, the numerator and the denominator are going to be opposite in sign, so when you do cancel them, you get -1. Notice how if I took the 2 over -2 or the 6 over -6, in each of those cases they would cancel to make -1. And this is an important concept that we're going to see throughout this chapter. When we move on to this next exercise, notice we cannot cancel directly. We just know to write our answer as -1 because we see an A minus B and a B minus A in both the numerator and denominator. You might, if you go back to square dancing, think of this as the do-si-do step. These two terms or expressions are switching places around that minus sign. When it comes to factoring 16 minus x squared, do not reverse that and write it instead as x squared minus 16. Instead, you need to write this as 4 plus x times 4 minus x. If you turn that numerator around, you're going to change the sign of the numerator. Likewise, down below in the denominator, we're going to get that x minus 4. These do not cancel, but you notice I've already crossed them off. What I do is when I cancel, I let one of them be a positive 1, the other one be a -1. And it doesn't matter which one is which. However, you can see the advantages of putting the 1 down in the denominator. Now, how do we write our answer? One way is to write it as negative parentheses 4 plus x. Another way is to write that negative, switch around what's inside the parentheses to x plus 4. We could also distribute either of these. The first one distributes to -4 minus x, and the second one distributes to -x minus 4. All of those are equivalent. All of those are perfectly fine for you to write down as an answer. There is no set rule on which one is best in this case. Okay, here we go. I'm going to factor the numerator with the difference of two squares, 7 plus x times 7 minus x. Down below I'm going to factor x minus 3 times x minus 7. And I notice that I've got this x minus 7 and 7 minus x, which apply here to that -1 technique. So I'm going to write my answer this way. I'm going to have -7 plus x over x minus 3. Another thing we could do, it's a little bit strange, but instead of putting that negative with the numerator, I could move it down to the denominator, distribute it, and have it switch that x minus 3 to a 3 minus x. But I'm going to leave this one as is, and you can choose how you want to write it if you choose to write this differently. Okay, this next one, there's no factoring in the numerator, leave it as a 5, but down below we can factor 5 out and have 4a minus 5 left over. And then these 5's cancel. Notice our answer is not 4a minus 5. That is in the denominator. And it helps if you write these little 1's there, because then you'll remember to write 1 over that 4a minus 5 as your answer. It's very common to forget that 1 numerator and just write the 4a minus 5, but that's wrong. Okay. Upstairs in the numerator, I see 4 times that a 4 can be factored out, but down below I see the difference of two squares, and I want to go with that first. T squared plus 4 times t squared minus 4, and that kind of tells me what's about to happen. I'm going to factor a 4 out of the numerator, have a t squared plus 4 left over. Note that those t squared plus 4's can cancel, and I'm going to have 4 over t squared minus 4. Do you factor that denominator into t plus 2 and t minus 2? That's totally decision on your part. You notice that there's no t's up in the numerator, and there's no way we're going to get any canceling even if we do factor it, so it really doesn't serve its purpose here.